Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And in this video, I wanted to give you guys a network update from T-Mobile. And I wanted to be a bit more detailed and kind of make this very clear because some people are commenting and they're still holding on to Sprint's network for dear life. There's still hope out there that they can gain an experience and get the speeds that are required to do their daily tasks. And while that may have been achievable when the Sprint network was still fully operational and fully funded by Sprint as a company, Sprint is just no longer a company. They have been bought by T-Mobile. It's been approved by the DOJ, by the FCC. Sprint no longer exists. And yes, there are definitely talks with Dish and the FCC that they want to stop them from doing decommissioning the CDMA network. And from what I'm being told, and again, this is unofficial, and I've said this in another video, and this is the reason why you see the picture in the video. T-Mobile is going to continue as planned. They are not going to give in to the demands by Dish. Only if the FCC comes out and makes an official statement telling T-Mobile to stop, that's when they will consider it. And even at that, if it doesn't really fit into T-Mobile's plans, they may even go to the higher courts to go against the FCC on this. They are in full decommission mode now. They are decommissioning the Sprint network one by one. So to kind of go more into detail, so the picture you see here is very interesting because when you hear Sprint keep sites, there's a different meaning. So there's a Sprint keep site that could potentially fill in coverage or densification and capacity for T-Mobile where they may have needed a site or have had no site nearby and had coverage gaps. In the case of the picture that you see here, this Sprint keep site helped T-Mobile gain higher elevation. So Sprint on this tower used to be on the second rack from the top. So at the very top, I believe is Verizon, and then it used to be Sprint, then AT&T, and then T-Mobile at the very bottom, and I think US Cellular may be in there in the middle. But nonetheless, T-Mobile was at the bottom, the very, very bottom rack. As you can see, there's that Band 71 panel. And now, what did they do? They decommissioned the Sprint site. They took off all the Sprint equipment. And now, as you see, they put their equipment on that second rack. So now there's N41 on there, N71, Band 71, and all their other LTE bands, the Band 2, the 66, and the Band 12. So it's now all loaded on that second rack, so they gained higher elevation in this case. So some of you that ask why is the T-Mobile equipment still at the bottom? So the way it works is you move the equipment, and you have to do this without causing any interruption. So you upgrade the site at the where you want to place it, you modernize it, you get it to the integration team, you start optimizing. While that's going on, before it is actually turned on in live, you leave the bottom rack on so you don't cause an interruption in service. Once you have that second rack fully optimized, integrated into the network, then you turn off and decommission your bottom rack, and then you remove the equipment whenever you can. So that's taking place now. This is happening. From what I'm being told, this is going to ramp up even more in May. In May, they're just going to start boom, 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 one after another. And not only that, in some areas where T-Mobile may not be getting to decommissioning yet, they're stripping down the Sprint network as well. The Spectrum assets are being relocated. So T-Mobile is widening their PCS from 10 to 20, 10 to 15, 15 to 20 megahertz. So that means Sprint's spectrums are being stripped, and it's going to get lower. Some people that were on the Sprint network were used to getting band 41 at 60 megahertz are now stripped down to band 25 5 megahertz or band 26 3 megahertz. That's a huge drastic drop in performance. So at this point, if you are on the Sprint network still, I mean, you're just avoiding the inevitable. T-Mobile is going to start sending out TNX SIM cards to customers on the masses, to the masses. They're going to start sending everybody a TNX SIM. They want 60 to 70% of the base at least on the T-Mobile network by the end of year. Not the accounts, not the plans themselves, just the Sprint customer on the T-Mobile network by the end of year. And they're looking to achieve this very, very aggressively. They're pushing towards this 100%. And by stripping the Sprint network down to the very lowest bandwidth that they can just to keep it operational, they're going to make it a worse experience for the Sprint customers. Just naturally going to happen. And then they may call in, or they may call in and they may, hey, what do we need to do? And then they'll likely be told, hey, we can get you on this TNX SIM, the T-Mobile network experience, and you'll have a much better experience. So I think that's how they sell it to the Sprint customer base. But, it remains to be seen if T-Mobile can get to that percentage. I'm sure they update everybody on the quarterly basis. So the next quarterly earnings should be early May for them. I'm sure we get an update on that. And then as we go through Q2, Q3, Q4, I'm sure we get an update each quarter on the percentage. But just to clarify again, this is ramping up at scale. This is not happening on some sites or just one or two sites. I'm being told this is happening at scale. I'm seeing it. I showed you guys a couple of weeks back, maybe even a month ago, that they're elevating their racks to a higher position on a site that Sprint was previously that Sprint is shared on that same site. Now, in the case of what I spotted, they didn't move it entirely to the Sprint rack. Like I said, for whatever reasons, the engineers made calculations and it just didn't fit their needs. But in this case, on this tower that you see here, they moved the entire rack up to the Sprint rack, to the second rack. So they gain higher elevation, which is better for coverage, definitely better for N41, and it's just going to be an all-around better experience for the customer base. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. I really like seeing this progress because this means they're on a roll. They're trying to stick to their plan. They're trying to stick to their timelines, and they're moving at a very quick pace. So if you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, to make sure you do so, hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow the social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.